Gia.
Felicia, that was a lovely voice.
Oh, it was? Thanks. Thanks.
Mellifluous.
Ooh,
Mellifluous.
gosh, aren't you
Yeah.
sweet? I would like to apologize that we weren't podcasting last night.
Yeah.
We ha
Aw.
we had a little vet situation, and this episode is dedicated to a little dog named Miffy.
Miffy. Did she like General Hospital? Could you
I
tell?
I imagine she did. Yeah.
Aw, poor
Yeah.
Miffy.
She was a real
She
sweet
was a
little
good
doggy.
girl.
Adopt, don't shop, everybody.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
so anyway, but we're back, and hospital was a good distraction, I must say, because there was a lot of shit going
there was a
down.
lot going down. We had stuff coming out, stuff going
Yeah.
down, stuff going up.
What was coming out? Oh, you mean the words? I thought you meant somebody there was
Secret.
an excretion or
No,
something.
no. Some characters may have excreted at
Yeah, I
some
bet they did when they
point.
saw Ryan,
Yeah, there
Felicia,
may have
and
been
Ava.
some excretions, but no, I meant secrets coming out. Secrets.
Yes, yes. And
Secrets, yeah.
did 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 the way that played out live up to all the buildup, would you say, Gia?
Are we talking the Portia Trina,
Yeah,
that one?
Portia, Trina, Curtis, yeah.
No, I mean it's engaging now, but no, it did
Mhm.
drag on an awfully long time, didn't
It
it?
really did, yeah. And
Yeah.
then Portia, like her lines, she's down to like 3 lines now, and
Yeah,
it's
I know. Well, can
like
we back up a little bit to
yeah,
just
yeah.
the wedding itself before we get
Okay.
into the,
Okay,
you know,
sure. Sure.
and I guess I'm being a negative Nelly
Okay.
still and
Uh-huh.
always forever. Um,
Also,
but
you're
I
sober, so that's not
yeah, I
gonna
am sober. It makes me a little cranky. I couldn't decide who I enjoyed less at the wedding,
Okay, okay, that's an interesting competition.
Portia or Drew. I was like, "Oh,
Oh. Oh, that's a tough one,
who
isn't
gave
it?
him the
'Cause
mic? Like,
he was
why
acting
would
like he was like a game show host or something.
exactly, and that made me think, "Okay, well, maybe that's the direction, not hot yoga instructor, not
Maybe s
swim coach,
or maybe they could just pluck him from the show and give him a
give him
game show to host. Just get him
Well,
out of Port Charles.
no, I was thinking like a game show host, as a character, and that'd be kind of an interesting side shoot,
That
like,
would
you
be
could have a
funny. They've
whole
never done
game
that
show
before,
going.
have they, on a
Yeah,
soap?
that'd be
Yeah,
kinda cool, and, like,
yeah.
life as a game show host, I don't know what
Oh,
that entails,
he would
but,
probably have some weird sort of groupie whore type people who, are
pretty poor
always
type people.
right? Or is that redundant?
It's not an oxymoron. Um,
I don't know how many people we've just offended, but carry on.
depending on which group you're in.
I like to think I'm a little of both.
A dash of this.
A modicum of that.
Woo! The vocabulary is really on fire tonight. Anyway, I just the activity of the wedding brought out more squealiness in
Oh,
Portia,
it
more
did.
like
It did.
in the
Oh,
and the
yeah.
clasping her hands together
And also, like, the way that her dress had that loop so it wouldn't drag on the floor.
oh, I know, I was like, "Oh, so tired of watching her carry that thing around,"
It
and
just seemed funny. It seemed so stupid in some moments when it was, like, really serious between her and Curtis or whatever, and
yeah,
she's,
it's
like,
like, "What do
walking
you got on
across
your
the room.
hand?" Yeah.
Why don't you just unloop the dress, Let it drag at this point because the thing is shot.
Yeah. It's a bad luck garment for sure. Nobody else is
No.
gonna wanna wear that.
Yeah, not Trina
No.
for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, that's all I really wanted to say.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, that's a good point, though. Drew was insufferable.
yes, I know, and,
And his energy, like, I know, like, he wants to, like, make everybody happy, but, like, with everything else going on, like in the Quartermain segment of
can't
town,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, you'd think he'd be like a little subdued.
but does he know what's going on? I don't know if he knows. I'm not trying to defend him, but I don't know if he's up on the most current. Because I wasn't there a scene where Carly was leaving him a message about like,
Oh,
or am
maybe
I?
that the STEM thing didn't work
Yeah,
out.
he
Did
may
you not
not. He
hear
may
that
not.
part?
Well, I could be wrong. I'm a little
Mm,
fuzzy on the
me
details.
too. Me too, Gia. But it
Um,
seemed like he enough was going on that he knew about that.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay,
Anyway,
now I've got another question for you. And this is
okay.
sort of going back before today.
Mhm.
Um, I know that you're a little more enamored of like the truth than I am.
Interesting. Okay. Mhm.
Or that's my sense of you, that
Okay.
you have more like a little more principles. You have a little more principles. You have more you're more principled? More
Mm,
principled?
I
That
I don't
sounds
know.
weird.
I don't know, but carry on.
Well, I'm wondering how the scene with Aunt Stella felt
Uh-huh.
to you.
With
Stella and Trina and
and
Spencer.
Spencer. Well, that was another one that was kind of agonizingly slow and drawn out, I think, if I'm
Okay.
remembering my
So you're just
reaction
but
to
you're
it.
talking about the pacing in the soap opera. I'm talking about like
Right, like Stella's
what she decided to do there.
her angle and having like unleashing Trina
What she just
on
yeah, what she decided to do
mhm.
and how she decided to do it.
Yeah. Um, well, I guess
Well,
well, I'm thinking like initially it kind of goes back to Jordan. You know, Jordan wound up Stella
Jordan
and then
set the whole thing in
and
motion for
hoped
sure.
she could just aim her at Portia and have that all explode, right?
Could we
But
say she
then
weaponized her?
good, good, well done, Gia.
On
Yes.
fire tonight, yeah.
My goodness. Yeah, so there was that, so that didn't play out the way Jordan wanted it to. And then Stella's got all this pent up sort of shit, and her own baggage, I guess, sort of
Yeah,
affecting how she's going to use this information. And then I don't think she expected to be confronted by Trina.
no, no, she didn't expect
So
to be
was she
confronted,
just
that's
gonna
good.
stew in her room and, I I don't
She
know.
was gonna suddenly, like, go, "Oh my goodness, no, it's a stomach thing, you don't see any Kleenex because it's a stomach virus." Oh, and she was gonna start doing fake upchucking and run to the bathroom.
Is that what you would have hoped for?
Yes, I mean, I wouldn't lay this I mean, I thought that was very unfair
It was, 'cause
to
she
Trina, especially,
and
you know?
especially just being so vague and just basically kind of toying with her.
Yeah, yeah, it was ridiculous, and it put Trina in the position of going and
Right,
confronting her mother,
right,
and, I
yeah.
mean, she knew that was gonna blow up the whole
Yeah,
situation,
right, right, yeah,
like, whatever, okay, you're gonna handle this, like, you're gonna like, you've decided you are God, and you're gonna tell
yeah,
everybody the freaking truth,
mhm,
and
yeah.
but figure out some way to do it maybe with a letter later or to Portia or,
Yeah, it was all super lame. I mean, from Jordan to Stella, and then
yeah.
Portia was just like super lame too. You kind of got the feeling like, oh, she's just sort of like a selfish kind of person who just kind of
I hate to
wants things.
say this, but I actually was starting to feel sorry for her.
Well, that's nice. That's nice, Chia.
Well, I mean, I was just seeing her point of view as somebody,
Mhm.
a younger much younger woman,
Yeah, I know. I was
pregnant with
trying.
the
Yeah.
guy that has said, "I never wanna see you again."
Hmm.
And, I mean, of course, she could have, in the 20 years since,
Yeah.
rectified this situation,
Right. Right.
um, but I can see making that decision, like, well, we're gonna he's gonna be her father in every way, and
Hmm.
I don't know.
Hmm.
Once again, I just got thinking about, the women are always left holding the bag with the pregnancy
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah, that's true. But I also think like it seemed like it was a little bit out of character and cowardly for Stella to just kind of sit on everything until she had this like young woman in front of her, giving her sort of an out in a way, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. Both Jordan and Stella got to go, well, I cleared my conscience and
Yeah.
in that Stella
Yeah.
voice, and
Right, right. Yeah.
I didn't,
Yeah. The one thing I will say, and maybe I should have noticed this before, but I feel like when we were introduced to this Trina, even though I liked her, she seemed like she didn't have nearly the sort of presence and strength as the original Trina.
okay. Yeah,
But
she seemed
she's
like a little
evolved.
sweeter, maybe.
Yeah, she was like
Yeah,
more soft spoken, but I think she's really evolved into being like this strong, like woman of principle, and she was kind of impressive, I thought, when she was
yeah,
talking to her
yeah.
mom.
She held her ground. Yep,
Yep, yep.
she was
And I
principled.
I liked also back when she was at Stella's with Spencer. I liked Spencer just being there on the sidelines.
Yeah, yeah, and when everybody else, when all the men were confronting him, he was
That
like,
was a funny scene
actually, a
too.
private family matter, to which I am not privy. And
I know, I know.
yeah,
They
it was very
probably wanted
Spencer.
to bop him, you know.
Yep, yeah, that was good though.
Yeah,
I think the only one to me that came out
mhm.
smelling like a rose on this whole thing is
Taggart.
Taggart.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah,
love
yeah.
Taggart. Love me some
I
Taggart.
know you
Um,
do, and I'm coming around. Yeah, I feel like it was simple for him. He loves Trina,
yeah,
and that's the end of it.
that's his daughter. He raised her
Yeah.
as his daughter, and
Mhm.
nothing's going to change that. And I also
Mhm.
thought he kind of showed some sympathy towards Portia.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
Mhm.
I don't. I feel like Curtis just still comes out like an asshole no matter how you slice it. Like he's Mr. It was like, and the setup for this whole thing, this whole like, well, Curtis cannot take lies more than anybody else. Curtis can't take a
Uh-huh.
lie, and then
Right. Right.
you lied to Curtis again, and that's it. That's it. I don't know,
Yeah,
but
I agree. Yeah, although I liked him a little more today than I
you
have
did. What
lately.
was it? What was it
I
that
don't
made
know.
you?
Well, I think I didn't want him to cave to Portia, and obviously he wouldn't because they've set him up to be this guy who can't
Yeah, they've
stand,
set him up to be this
yeah,
sort of like,
any sort of dishonesty.
yeah,
Yeah.
this
Although meanwhile he's got
puritanical.
like Selena Wu running poker games in his club, so it
That's
feels like
right.
he's a
Yeah,
teeny bit of a hypocrite, I guess, if you're talking
yeah.
about like I don't know. I mean, maybe that's not really a lie. It's just sort of not a great idea.
I don't know. I just felt like, I mean, as much as I dislike Portia's mannerisms lately, the squealing and
Yeah.
the lack
Yeah.
of dignity in her character and everything,
Mhm.
I just
Right.
found
Right.
myself being sympathetic to, it's like, life is messy. I think life is
Mhm.
messier for women.
Mhm.
Um, and
Yeah.
I just thought, I can see the
Mhm.
sort of twisted logic in her decision making back then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
it doesn't make it right. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not advising it. Um,
No, but
but
that's all true. You're right.
I just kind of thought, well, um, what a stinky thing for Stella to do, to lay this bomb,
Mhm.
to set off this bomb on this day when,
Yeah.
um, I don't know, like the kind Christian thing to do would be to counsel Portia on, like, look, this is huge. It's not right of you to keep this from Curtis and Taggart.
Mhm.
Let's you and I talk about how the best way that you can break this to both these
Mhm.
men. And,
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
not to just like, I'm gonna blow up all these lives
Right.
because I want to ease my conscience.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Right. You're
I don't know.
right.
That's where I stand, but
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
I could change. I could come to some different conclusion.
Well, I think everything you said is true. Um, and yeah, just Jordan between Jordan and Stella and Portia, they just none of them, made a good decision really.
No, I guess the biggest victim is Trina.
Trina. Yeah, and I was trying to imagine how that would feel, and I have no idea how that would feel if you had thought
Yeah,
someone was your father for your whole life.
yeah, I don't know what yeah, I don't know. I was thinking like yeah, way back when my one of my brothers got divorced, I remember being quite upset. And
Mhm.
and it was like, "Why am I so upset?"
Mhm.
No, it's like not my marriage, it's not,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
but it was like, well, this was what I'd held as a solid truth. I didn't see it
Uh-huh.
coming, you know.
Uh-huh.
I didn't
Yeah.
see it. I didn't know they were having trouble, and so it kinda sort of
Yeah.
blindsided the family, and
Uh-huh.
so it's not really a parallel, but I remember just being like, "Well, this"
Mhm.
it just sorta shook my worldview
Right.
because I
Right.
thought they were solid and that's who they
Yeah.
were, and, and
Mhm.
it was like,
Mhm.
"Whoa." So it was a whole
Yeah, I think everybody does that with certain things in life. You wanna have these things that you can count on,
yeah,
you
like
know?
this is who I am, this is what I
Mhm.
know, and yeah, and if
Mhm.
it's so yeah,
Yeah.
it would be pretty shattering, and she's, supposed to be so young. What is she supposed to be 20?
Yeah. Yeah.
21? 20.
Mhm. Yeah.
So yeah, you're still defining yourself like with what CDs you have on your shelf or
I don't know if they
which
have
I don't think they
CDs
have
on
those
their
anymore.
shelf. Yeah.
They don't have them on their shelves. On their
Yeah.
Spotify or
Yeah,
something, or
that's right. Yeah.
how do you let people know what you're listening to and how
Yeah, you
cool
can
you
do that
are?
on I know it's harder.
I
But,
was talking to somebody tonight, and they were
mhm.
talking about going to a show of some friends' children, and they
Uh-huh.
got there, and it turned out that it was a genre called screamo.
Oh, I
Have you
haven't
ever
heard
heard of
that.
that? I
No, that
haven't
doesn't sound
either.
good, though.
No, it was like some heavy, like they get up in the mic and go,
Oh,
yeah.
g
It's like they said they
yikes.
just fell out laughing the whole time.
Oh, that's funny. Getting back to the important stuff, I got a better look at Elizabeth's dress,
Okay,
and
and
it's awful. I was
that's what I thought. They keep putting her in these
it
things that are cut all the way almost to the waist and
it's
make me
such
think
an yeah,
she
and just
needs a
even the
sandwich.
sleeves, like the top, it was
Yeah,
just, like, such a weird
and the
style for
color
her.
was, like, very dark for
And
a
it was a little
wedding,
bit
and
shiny, it was almost like a
yeah,
garbage bag, I'm thinking.
not a Mylar balloon, but a garbage bag this
Right.
time?
Different type of plastic.
Okay.
Yeah. But I guess they're
Uh,
recycling, so maybe that's a good thing.
maybe they're being cutting
Maybe
edge
they
with
maybe they
stuff.
heard you, Gia.
Yeah, everybody, recycle.
They were like, "God, we can't
Um,
win.
Earth Day is
Recycling
coming up.
now."
Uh, I liked, Terry's dress, that
Yeah,
was
I
kind
thought
of
she
a
looked lovely, yes. Yes,
fuchsia thing,
I
and,
think she gets some of the highest marks
highest marks
fashion-wise.
for
Yeah.
fashion, okay.
Mhm.
And I think Joss had a pretty dress, I think she looked
Yeah,
nice.
it might have had some
Don't
extra
remember
ruffles, but,
too many ruffles for you. Well, they're supposed to be
maybe.
young. I think that's why we get ruffles and bows
I guess so,
with
yeah, it's
Trina and
a
Joss.
really fine line between looking too much like a little girl dressing up and
Yeah. And you
versus
just know if you get close, they're gonna smell like Love's Baby Soft or something.
yeah. Oy.
Instead of some whorish adult perfume.
Right, right.
Not patchouli, and they won't smell
Uh,
like patchouli.
no, they won't smell like patchouli. I
Actually
like
like that smell.
do you? Okay.
In moderation, anyway.
Sure, sure. I liked Yuri also, he didn't have much of
Yep,
a
yeah,
role
he
to
had a few
play, but
yeah,
he's
he seems very wise, though, in what he does say.
he
Like
does,
a
he does.
fortune cookie almost.
Yeah, yeah, like, he's got his priorities straight, I think.
Yep, yep.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay, so we had
okay,
all of that,
okay.
things coming out, and then
Yep.
what else did you say was happening? Things going in, did you say?
Oh, geez, did we have any things going
Well, we
in?
had the shiv going into the back of the
Oh,
guard.
that's true, yeah. Oh, I loved Esme's, like
Oh, man, that was
she's, like,
that was
flipping,
a
so
good freak out, wasn't it?
if she's still faking it, if we think she's faking it, she is doing an excellent job.
No, she yeah, that really seemed like a different person than the evil Esme.
And this Heather Weber, I hope she wins every award. She's
Yeah.
so good. She brings this weird energy to the whole Enterprise that I
She
just
really
love, man.
does, yeah. She's very unique as a
Yeah,
character, yeah.
yeah. Just even her body movement
Yeah,
and yeah.
uh-huh, yeah.
Um,
She's like a
I loved
golem or
when
something.
she, like, goaded Ryan into putting the knife up against her throat, and then she's like, "There he is."
Oh, man, what a dance those 2 do,
Yeah,
you know?
they're excellent together.
Yeah, and Ryan, I mean, hats off to that actor
I
because
know,
I
I
once
know.
again, I believe
Yeah, it's
that's
like
a
a whole different
completely
guy.
different and that he should get 2 Emmys because he's good and Kevin's also good when we see Kevin, so
Yeah, we don't see enough of Kevin. I don't know if
no, we
Kevin
really
could
don't.
get an award because he's not on enough.
Right,
I
right.
don't know why. He's a
Yeah,
calming presence. We all need that
we
now.
sure do more than ever.
And, what did you think of the hijinks in England? Cheerio, pip pip, and
Oh, man, I don't know, I guess that played out pretty much exactly the way we would have predicted, right?
yeah, yeah, it was pretty predictable. Like, of
Yeah.
course, that there she is, Maggie O'Shea or whatever her
Yeah,
name is.
yeah.
She's
Like,
the
nobody
barmaid.
and
Like,
there
that's
were
the first
there were
place they go, and
I think there were maybe predicted there would be 4 people in that pub, and I
yeah,
think there might have been 5, including Sam and Dante, so
yeah, yeah.
it's close, but
Well,
not
maybe it was a
quite.
weeknight. I don't know.
Could have been, but, it seemed like they coulda just, like, shouted out the name Maggie to see if,
Yeah,
like,
just see who
you know?
just quickly responded, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so, I don't know, but, and then I thought, "Shit, are they gonna communicate back to Port Charles that Ryan is Esme's dad?" And thank God Jordan called him, Dante, and
Yeah,
found
and
out,
got
right?
that info, yeah.
Yeah, so
Um, yeah, and for a little while, I was like, Why did they keep saying only 2? Why do they keep saying only 2?
I
7
know.
prisoners have escaped, and then it's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
So I did have moments of actual, like, being kind of into it like it was a nighttime drama.
Yes,
Um,
yes. Well, it was quite
and poor
exciting.
Mac, another smack on the head there. I don't know if he
Poor
needs
Mac.
that, you
Yeah.
know?
Gosh, I know.
We don't
Yeah.
need him bonked on the head. His personality's already pretty good.
Yeah, yep. He's a pretty solid guy. He's kind of one of the guys that you count on as just being, Mac, right?
Yeah,
No
yeah.
real surprises at this point.
No, not mac
Um,
and cheese, just Mac.
just Mac, right? The only surprise might be that he seems okay with Felicia being off on her own, doing whatever she's
I don't
doing.
know if he knows about all the stuff Felicia does. I feel like she probably just is like, "Well, it's better if he's" you
Right,
know
but didn't he say something about it having to do with Anna?
Oh, so he does know? Okay, because I thought maybe she was doing that all just on the sly and
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm sure he doesn't know the extent of what she's
Yeah,
doing, but he seems to be okay with being better off, not
yeah,
knowing.
knowing that she's smarter than him.
Yeah,
He
and
seems okay
everybody
with
else
that.
in town, yeah.
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
Mhm,
Super sleuth, masterminding this
mhm.
whole little project, and Anna and Valentine, we just get the, few moments of them darling, 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 darling,
I
darling.
know.
It's like heart to heart, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and so they must be, like, what, right outside Port Charles now?
I don't know. I was also distracted by the weird pillows on the couch.
Okay,
It was like
uh-huh.
I was like, "I wonder if they've got that set at Rooms to Go." That gray couch
Mhm,
and those weird plaid
mhm.
pillows and
I kinda liked the couch, I must say.
You did?
I
Really?
like the couch, yeah. I've been studying couches a lot lately, and,
Time for a new couch?
well, I feel like I shouldn't get a new couch because Vinny likes to tinkle against couches, and,
Maybe you
I'm a
should get a vinyl couch.
yeah, well, it's gotta have legs that, like, lift it
Naugahyde.
high enough off the floor that he can't
Yeah,
hit the
put it up
couch
on
material.
put it up on, like, pylons, like a house on the beach.
On stilts.
You gotta have a ladder to get up.
I could just get a bunk bed and sit up
Yeah.
at the top of the bunk bed.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, good idea, Gia. Thanks.
Sure.
Um, so, okay, so we have Ryan at Spoon Island, and I guess,
Oh, I got a question just
yeah,
because we seem to have a better handle on plot lines. So, did is is Heather ditching Ryan, or are they actually a team in all this, or did she set this up and then ditch him, or what? Why are they separate now? And
you
like,
mean on the island? Why are we
yeah,
just seeing Ryan coming into
yeah,
the Windermere?
and Heather and Esme are on their own. Like, I felt like maybe she was trying to get rid of him or something.
Well, I don't know if we can trust either of them
No, probably
to
not.
care what happens to the other, but I think they all came over on the boat because he mentioned to Felicia and Ava that there wouldn't be room for all of them to go back.
Oh, so you think they're on the boat waiting for him or something?
Yeah, and she must have had to
Um,
stay with Esme just to keep her from losing her shit altogether,
okay, so maybe they haven't
right?
really separate. I just thought somehow they ditched him, and I thought, all right, good move.
Yeah,
But
that would be a
uh,
good move, but no. Poor
mhm.
Esme, if she's if she's really this new Esme, man, imagine looking at those 2
Yeah,
and being like,
yeah,
"Holy fuck."
mom, dad,
Man, she doesn't
yeah.
know Heather's her mom yet, right?
No,
She just
no.
knows
Was
Ryan's her dad. My
well, does she?
god.
Does she? Wait, she knows Ryan's her dad. Did she? What?
He called her, he told her that he was her dad as they were preparing to leave the prison. And she, like,
You
sort
know
of
what?
like,
I think I missed. You probably watched. There was a chunk taken out due to
"Oh.
there was a little presidential, like, all these what's up
Oh,
with all
right, right.
these
The
extra
thing."
Mylar balloons?
Probably that's the fashion school that's making all these dresses and the
Yeah, there's
Mylar
some
balloons.
debris
They
from
just
these
let some
balloons.
go, you know? They
Yeah,
were like, "Alright,
yeah.
we've got
Okay, so
everybody."
maybe that explains a little bit
Yeah,
'cause
yeah, okay,
okay,
Gia. So,
okay.
yeah, what you missed maybe was when they were preparing to leave Spring Ridge, and, Esme was freaking out because Ryan had just stabbed the guard.
Yeah, that was right
That was
about when things cut out,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, man, that would have killed me if that's when things cut out. Jesus, no
And I
wonder
forgot,
Biden's
I
approval
forgot,
ratings are down.
I didn't go back to Hulu 'cause I was like, "Oh, well, it came back on," I didn't think I missed
Uh-huh.
that much, but
Yeah, it was pretty crucial because the stabbing happened. He was so nonchalant about it that just added to Esme's horror, I think, because she
yeah,
kind of like
yeah.
crumbled and she was like, freaking out, and Heather was having to like try to keep her from screaming. Um, and so then they left, and yeah, so you saw Mac get bonked on the head by
Yeah, yeah, I think so, yeah,
Ryan, yeah.
yeah.
Um, and then when he appeared at Windermere, you only saw him, but he did mention that there wouldn't be enough room on the boat, so he sort of acted like he
Okay,
was
so
going to
maybe
have
they're
to.
with alright, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think they must be just hanging out on the boat.
And
But
Austin's about to get hooked now.
yeah, so is that Heather?
Well, yeah, I that's what I'm assuming, or that's just what we're supposed to assume. Maybe it's a
Yeah,
well, I mean, she did actually admit to sneaking out in and out of the prison
right,
and
right.
being the hook, but she implied that she wasn't the hook all along, or maybe
Huh.
I just read that into it. I don't know.
Yeah, because it didn't look like her feet, or what I would imagine her feet to look like.
Did we see feet?
We saw, like, yeah, the like, the calves and feet of the person coming in and then the
Oh,
hook.
okay.
So, but I don't know. It could be Heather, but maybe if it's not, then it's gonna be interesting to see who that is.
And we've thrown somebody else in the mix.
Yeah,
Okay.
but, Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen with poor Austin.
Yeah, and Austin was, like, listening, and he's, like, backing away like, I only signed up to move bodies."
Just the
Like,
one. I can't
just the
do
body.
2.
Yeah. And it's so aggravating because they know we wanna see if Nicholas's body is still there or not,
Right,
and they
right.
just keep getting right to the point where it's like, "Ah."
Uh-huh, I
Yeah.
know. I well, and then, yeah, we're thinking, like, Mason, 'cause he's vanished, and he seemed like he was heading to the island, so what
Could
if he's
Mason be
the
our
hook?
hook?
I thought he might have been, and so did Ava, right? She
Right, right, yeah.
but, I
Well,
don't know. I don't know if it makes sense,
I
really,
mean,
the
that could be like, the implication I thought with Heather was that she was being the hook just
Mhm,
to throw suspicion off of her Esme.
mhm, right, and that seemed like a good theory, and
Yeah,
targeting people that, had, you know, not done right by Esme.
but what in the world would Mason have, like,
Yeah.
a whole Trina connection, you
Right,
know?
right, and then where does the exotic animal trainer come in?
Right. Oh my
You know?
goodness. What a tangled web, General
Yeah,
Hospital.
sheesh, sheesh.
And I think they just chuck it all together and sort it out afterwards and come up with
Yeah, yeah.
whack-a-mamie explanations, you know?
Mhm. Yep, I think that's
Mhm,
true, yeah.
mhm. And it
But
doesn't really have to make sense because 'cause we'll buy anything, you know?
anything,
Remember
seriously,
that
yeah.
show Lost?
Yeah, I didn't
Speaking of
ever
which,
watch that.
Nina was on that show.
Oh, okay, didn't know that.
You didn't watch that show?
No,
Oh.
I didn't.
Just because other people liked it and,
Maybe,
yeah.
maybe
I know
sometimes.
how you operate.
But I
Um,
also thought, that, if people are really trapped, wouldn't they all become very skinny? And it didn't
like
seem like that.
Survivor, yeah,
Yeah, didn't seem
yeah.
like that was happening, so I don't know.
So, just on that, you were,
On
uh
that, yeah, and also I never watched Survivor, so because that show, I imagined when it was first, like, being talked about, I thought, "Oh, okay. They're gonna throw a bunch of people on an island, and then maybe we'll get to, like, watch them and decide who has to leave." But then it looked like it was nothing like that, so I wasn't on board.
okay. I believe I watched the 1st season of it,
Mhm.
and, if it was the 1st season, I think.
Yeah.
There was a guy that used to go around naked just to annoy other people, and that was
Mhm.
hysterical. I thought
Would that have
that is
been you,
someone who
Gia?
I know, but that was, like, somebody that knows how to play the game, like, just to
Yeah.
make people uncomfortable.
Yeah,
And
and then it seemed like the girls were always hanging around in, like, dirty bikinis, right?
yeah, they had these, like, sort of bando kind of bands they gave them all,
Yeah.
like, yeah, and
So, yeah.
they were multi-purpose. They were bikinis and sorta hair bands and
Yeah, just
thongs, whatever it was.
aesthetically,
Yeah.
it just didn't look like it was
Yeah,
gonna work for me.
well, you couldn't smell it through the TV at least, but
You almost could, though.
just about.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
anyway, the show Lost, I was just thinking about I was on board with that show and watched it, but by the time it got near the end, things were so convoluted that
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
was no way in hell you could figure
Uh-huh.
anything out and
Yeah,
have it make any kind of sense, and they
yeah.
knew that, and it
Right,
didn't even
right.
matter, and
Yeah.
I think that's what happens with these soaps. They're like, "Whatever, that's
Uh-huh.
kinda cool, we'll figure it out later, let's just
Yeah.
do that today," and then
Mhm. Mhm.
I don't know if they've mapped things out, like,
Yeah,
maybe they didn't
they
know who the hook was from the beginning.
right. There's
Maybe they
always
don't
these
know now.
maybe not, yeah, and there's a lot of things that they never really circle back to,
They
and
probably just came across a cache of these fish hooks
those yeah, and thought, "These will
in
be handy."
yeah, in the,
Yeah.
like, set room, like, "Okay, these
Yeah.
are cool and
Yeah.
shiny and bright and
Uh-huh.
would make good murder weapons,"
They'll
and,
distract our viewers from our
yeah,
low
and so that
budget ball
yeah,
gowns.
that was the impulse for that whole storyline probably.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good
I don't
thought,
know.
Gia, I bet you're right.
Yeah, okay.
It's all just whatever they have a lot of, they figure they
Yeah,
better just work it into the story somewhere.
yeah. What
Mhm.
else do we have to
To to
discuss
criticize
here?
today.
Yeah, or criticize or seem to
Well,
be
not
terrified.
I would say not Laura. I thought she was very
Okay.
good as the wedding officiant. I think we did touch
Yeah.
on that before, but I think it bears repeating.
Nice pantsuit,
Yeah,
kind of a
yeah,
yeah, pantsuit
hmm
look. Yeah.
yeah. And I still like that she's buddies with Sonny. You know, doesn't
Yeah.
seem to feel
Okay.
that that could ever be a problem. And she thinks he's good for Spencer, so that's also fun. You
Yeah,
know.
the mob boss, good for
Yeah,
my
yeah,
grandson. Yeah.
and Sonny, I it's interesting now that his, like, scary deal is starting to bubble up, because he had become, like, the most chill Sonny, you know?
Yeah, yeah, now he's gonna have to get mobby again.
Yeah, and maybe punch guys in the trunk of his car, who knows?
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I
uh
hope so, yeah.
So, yeah, I guess it'll be interesting to see who's on the other side of this deal now that he's looking into that. That will
Yeah.
help set that up as maybe something that could be a little bit more interesting to us,
Mhm.
right?
Okay, right, yep.
So
I
there's
kinda
that.
forgotten about that deal, yeah.
I know, and when it came up, I was like, "Oh god, I like this Sonny when there's nothing going
Yeah,
on, and he's just hanging out."
he's supportive Sonny.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and we had no Willow and
Yeah, we had no
Michael
Willow
stuff,
action,
right?
yeah, yep.
Yeah, so that's curious.
Well,
Um,
we'll have plenty of their wedding shortly.
mhm. Yeah. It was kind of interesting that Joss was sort of all by herself and, like, she's
Yeah,
got
I was
her
thinking
whole.
about that, like, why is she at this wedding? It's like, oh, because she's Trina's girlfriend, not
Yeah,
Willow.
yeah, but
Yeah.
they seem so distant right now. There's so much that they don't know about each other really
Right,
right now, you
right.
know?
Yeah, they aren't like the little 3 musketeers anymore, 4
Yeah,
musketeers, or yeah,
yeah,
it's
uh-huh,
true.
and Joss doesn't really like Spencer that much right now because he hates Dex.
Yeah, I don't understand why he hates Dex. I guess just in defense of Cam is
Yeah,
but he
yeah.
doesn't even know Dex. Dex is really nice.
Listen to you. He's so cute.
He's very cute. He's very funny on Instagram, he's very cute.
Oh, dear. Yeah.
Oh my. Oh
My,
my.
my.
Do you think
Yeah.
Elizabeth and Finn are inching back towards getting together, or is that just kind of
Well, it's looking a little bit like that. I like them in this state right now where they're just kind of, like, decent to each other and there's no
Yeah,
expectations.
yeah, okay.
But, I suppose that's not where soap operas like to land with couples.
No, I mean, well, they have to come up with a new love interest for both of them, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody's gotta have a love interest, apparently.
Everybody has to, yeah. I don't really like Terry sort of like when she was talking to them, like, kind of implying like, "Ooh, they're back together." I just don't like that sort of, like, pushing people.
Well, and they revert back to, like everybody turns into, like, a high schooler when they're
Yeah,
talking, like, "Ooh,"
yeah, I don't know. That
they
seems a
start
little.
squealing and
Yeah.
yeah.
So, anywho, I don't know,
Mhm.
but I guess everything is coming to a head here. All these plots that we've been following.
Yeah, Portia's gonna need some
Therapy. She's gonna need
therapy or
Kevin.
at least a pint of ice cream or something, like,
Yeah,
very sad wedding night, you know?
very sad. Yeah, that's another thing, I just the timing of that, of course, that's, like, gives it the maximum damage.
Yeah, I mean, is any are Jordan or Stella gonna go pick up the pieces and make
No,
sure
I
she
don't think so.
doesn't commit suicide or anything? I mean, look what they set in motion, and
Yeah. Uh-huh.
right or wrong, you're
Mhm.
shattering somebody's life,
Yeah.
and, I don't know,
Mhm.
do they have any responsibility to check on her? Is anybody gonna check on her, you know?
Yeah, that's where you'll see, like, where their true motives
Yeah.
lie.
Yeah.
But it seemed like that was the worst possible time, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, there had to be some other way to handle it
Mhm. To
so that
minimize the damage a little bit, yeah.
yeah,
And Jordan would say, "Oh, well, I've been trying to get her to,"
that's true, and she has been,
yeah. But then roping in Stella at that late date seemed
Yeah.
like a dirty move
Yeah, it was dirty pool all around.
all around. Yeah.
Like it.
So, yeah. There's a lot of characters actually that we haven't seen lately, like Maxie,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know.
It's true. There are so many characters, it's really hard to keep storylines
Yeah.
straight, you know,
Yeah.
it
Mhm.
would be hard to keep. I don't know if that's how soaps always were, like, I wonder if they have kind of a magic number of characters
Yeah, right. It's a good question, Gia.
that they keep in rotation and how or how much testing they do to go, "Oh, this storyline gets a lot of,
Mhm.
reaction. Let's,
Mhm.
keep this on the front burner and keep that one on the
Mhm.
back,"
Yeah.
how frequently they need to show characters to make us care about them
Mhm.
and
Don't know.
not forget them completely.
Yeah, it's kind of easy to forget them sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, excuse me, like, I still like, I feel like they with Terry, they bring Terry in just enough that I'm like, "Oh, I'd like to see more of her." Um, but, they know the right amount of time to let go by before I forget her completely, like, "Oh, there's Terry," then
Completely.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But it's funny how they made her and Yuri just kind of a couple without any of the other,
without
like
us getting to see all the rest of it,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. Um,
right, like, yeah, that could be a really interesting storyline.
it could be. It
Um,
would have been, right, to see how
yeah.
Yuri responded to, her being trans and stuff, but
Right, right. Yeah, like they skipped over that somehow.
mhm, which is
Yeah.
a pretty big thing to skip over.
Yeah, and I don't know, could have been a
Yeah,
rip from today's headlines kinda storyline.
sure could have. Yeah, it was a moment. Also, this was, of course, a lot less of a thing to skip over. But Elizabeth gave a speech, at the wedding reception, and
Yeah.
everybody was talking about it, but they didn't show it. Right? There was
Oh,
no
yeah.
because I don't. Maybe they didn't think they could
They
write
didn't feel
something
like
that
writing that.
powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. Ay, ay,
Yeah.
ay.
Well,
Anyway.
anyway, I guess I'm feeling like a dullard.
Well, it's you've had a gig already today, and you haven't had a
Yeah.
drink, so
I haven't had
that's
a
tough.
drink or supper, really.
Oh,
Haven't had some
geez, Gia. So
supper.
you're
Oh my
probably
gosh.
starting to
Yeah.
wind down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Like
okay.
a
Well,
sad balloon coming to rest.
on Elizabeth's shoulders, her tiny
Yeah,
shoulders.
yeah, tiny dancer.
Yeah,
Um, well, anyway, it was good to catch up and,
yeah, yeah.
condolences on little Miffy. My
Thank
goodness.
you. Thanks, Gia. She's a good little doggy.
Yeah, and, everybody out there, if you're listening, I don't know. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And maybe we'll come back Monday, Gia, because we probably should have something to talk about on Monday if some of this
Okay.
stuff uh gets
Might be a
picked up.
big episode. We'll get ourselves
Could
back on
be.
track anyway.
Yeah, I'd like to be back on track.
Back on track. Okay.
Okay.
Alright, well, thanks everybody, and
Yeah,
we'll
thank
talk
you.
to you soon.
Okay, Gia, have a good night.
Alright, you too. See ya.
Thanks. Bye.